Hello everyone, I'm Joshua Gillespie, and welcome to Season 2 of JG Reviews. Now, I know it's already February, and I know that I said I had another review planned, but unfortunately my computer didn't want you to see that review, so it's going to be delayed. Basically, none of my computers in my house are ready to render high definition. But that's okay. That was just one of the many little things that are going to be added to the show this season. As for the other things, we'll address those as they come along. Starting with this, the first JG Reviews Top 10. Let me explain how JG Reviews Top 10s work. Unlike most top 10s on the internet, mine is more personal. Instead of the whole, this is what's best, believe every word that I say. And in the title of the videos I will say, my top 10, just to reassure people. Okay, so understand? Now, let's move on to my first top 10. Which is actually a top 5. My top 5 favorite third-party developers.
Wait, why is it only 5 and not 10? What, did you only pick 5 and then just get lazy and stop there?
Thank you, Sid. He's still here. Sadly. But no, the reason I'm going with 5 as opposed to 10 is because this is a deeper list for me. And I want to talk about these companies in depth. And if there was 10 of them, I'd either not get to talk about each one a lot, or this would be an extremely long video. So, in order to talk about these companies as much as I want to, I'm only going to have 5. But also, there's a little disclaimer for this video.
Disclaimer, all of the third-party companies on this list are on this list because I like them, obviously. But here's the thing, just because a developer used to be awesome or used to suck, and now they suck or are awesome, doesn't mean they can't be on this list. If at any time they developed games that were absolutely amazing in my eyes, that's all that counts. Also, for companies that were first-party and then became third-party, the only games that count are the ones made that were when they became a third-party. Also, Sega isn't on this list because I lived through half of their first-party life, and to me, I still kind of see them as a first-party company because I'm weird like that. I wanted to originally not include companies that no longer exist like Midway and recently acquired THQ, but then that made me sad, so I decided that they could say, ironically enough, neither of those companies are on this list. Also, if I was going to have some sort of honorable mention, it would definitely be Retro Studios. Heck, the name sort of sounds like, well, never mind, that's probably kind of spoiled one company on the list. It's really weird that Sega is a third-party company. Yeah, the Dreamcast didn't make a lot of money, that doesn't mean that they can't be a first-party company in my eyes. Plus, the Dreamcast was freaking amazing. This disclaimer has gone on way too long. I'm going to stop this list and start. If any of you actually read this disclaimer from start to finish, and if you're one of those people, all I have to say is good for you. Disclaimer, all of the third-party companies on this list are on this list because I like them, obviously.
Everybody catch that?
Reading that gave me a headache.
Well, good. This is my top 5 favorite third-party developers. Number 5. Konami. Oh, Konami. Just saying that name brings back a lot of good memories. Games like Metal Gear, Castlevania, Contra, DDR, Silent Hill, and heck, even Frogger. Konami has made a lot of great games. And not just their main titles. A lot of their licensed games are just as great. Turtles in Time and The Simpsons are often considered the greatest beat-em-ups of all time. If I was to list every great Konami game, I'd be talking for quite a while. A lot of their best games were made during the 16-bit era, such as Super Castlevania. Metal Gear Solid was one of the best games on the PlayStation 1. The games they make today are still addictive and fun, such as Metal Gear Rising, which is one of the only games I'm really looking forward to this year. Sure, they've made some okay games and even some bad ones, but hey, every company's done that. And when your library is mostly good games, it's easy to overlook the bad ones. especially when one of your games is Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Also, the music in their games is always awesome. The main theme of Metal Gear Solid and of course Vampire Killer are two of my favorites. I don't have to say go play a Konami game if you haven't, because I know you already have. Number 4. Capcom. Now here's where things can get kind of controversial. Yes, I know Capcom has been a little foolish lately, what with the on-disc DLC, the constant cancellations of Mega Man games, and the Resident Evil games not being faithful to the genre it had a big part in creating. But that doesn't mean that they didn't used to be awesome. Remember back to the original 8-bit Mega Man games, Mega Man X on the Super Nintendo, and the 14 billion different versions of Street Fighter 2? And don't forget, Resident Evil 4 is considered one of the greatest games ever made. Now, I can't forgive them for some of the things they charged money for, like multiplayer or costumes, but think about the licensed games they made back on the 16-bit era. The Disney games they made? Oh my gosh! And the Marvel games, like Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Yeah, I do have problems with that, even though I bought it. But I only bought it after the price dropped significantly. And I still don't have Dead Rising 2. But I downloaded Taste West. Anyway, so will Capcom ever return to their classic not ripping people off glory? Hopefully. But until then, we still have the classic Capcom games to play. You know what? I'm okay with that. Number 3. Old Rareware. Yep, you knew this was coming. Rare was one of the best third-party companies. And then the awfulness began. Now, I didn't have a problem with Cameo or even Viva Pinata, but when they started taking their classic franchises like Perfect Dark and Banjo-Kazooie, especially Nuts and Bolts, and they started making those awful, that is where I have a problem. So I'm putting Rareware on this list specifically for when they worked with Nintendo. Donkey Kong Country, Banjo-Kazooie, Killer Instinct, Conker's Bad Fur Day, GoldenEye, Jet Force Gemini, Battletoads, Wizards and Warriors, Marble Madness, Captain Skyhawk, and Snake Rattle and Roll. I just said Snake Rattle and freaking Roll. That's how much I love retro Rareware. Do I think Rareware can recover? No. Is that sad? Yes, it's very sad. But at least we have the classic games so we can relive our memories of good Rareware. It's a sad fact that Rareware has been reduced to making Kinect Sports, and Microsoft doesn't want to make money from releasing their classic games. But nothing. That's a sad fact, and Rareware is never going to recover. They've dug themselves such a deep hole that they can never climb out of it. And let's just move on to the next one before I start crying. Number 2.
Afraid to go out at night? Afraid to go out during the day? Just plain afraid? Then you need this! The Ultra Mech Unlimited! This mech is the ultimate in personal defense system! Large Industries is now taking pre-orders. Get yours before it's too late.
Insomniac. Now I don't feel like crying anymore. Hello, Insomniac Games. Spyro the Dragon, Ratchet and Clank. First, let me talk about Spyro. Year of the Dragon was one of the first video games I ever played, and I could talk for hours about every good memory I have from it. Especially blowing up the snowman. But anyway, after I found out that they weren't going to make Spyro anymore, I was very disappointed. Well, until I saw their next project, Ratchet and Clank. And boy, did it amaze me. I'll admit, the only one I played on the PS2 was Up Your Arsenal. That's funny. But I made sure to get the three PS3 games and the recently released HD collection, and I love every game on that series. Personally, at this point, I think Insomniac can do no wrong. Also, for some reason, recently, I've been playing their games really late at night. So maybe it's irony, but whenever I have a sleepless night, I can always count on Insomniac. And my number one favorite third-party developer is... Naughty Dog. I just talked about how Insomniac could do no wrong. Well, right now Naughty Dog is also in that same boat, and I have enjoyed every single franchise they have created, from the legendary Crash Bandicoot to the treasure hunting antics of Nathan Drake in Uncharted. And I'm sure that The Last of Us will impress me just as much as their other titles. I really wish that Naughty Dog still worked on Crash Bandicoot, but that's a discussion for a later time. From the moment I've turned on each of their games, I just get filled with this indescribable excitement, and I own nearly every game that Naughty Dog has ever produced. Even though I wasn't too big of a fan of where they took Jak and Daxter series with the sequels, I still stood by it and knew something great would come from it. And it did. And it was called Daxter, and it was awesome. And also, even though Naughty Dog doesn't own Crash, I would still love to see an HD collection. I know it would be a huge seller. From a fun-loving Bandicoot to an adventurous duo to a daring explorer, Naughty Dog has always made amazing franchises that I have loved from childhood to today. And that's what gives them the number one spot on my top 5 favorite third-party developers. So that's my first top 5 list. I hope you enjoyed it. And I want to apologize for not having a review last week. So to make it up to you guys, there's going to be another review next week. So stay tuned for that. Also, something I wanted to mention is that now I have t-shirts. Yes, official JG Reviews t-shirts. I've provided a link below so you can go and get one. They also, if you take a picture of it and send it to my Facebook page, I'll post it and you can be a fan of the month. I already have 2 so far. So get on it. I'm Joshua Gillespie, and welcome to Season 2 of JG Review.